the only man who's ever made me take my top off on the internet.
He was on his knees, swinging his t-shirt around on the floor on a live stream.
It is time to rank Liverpool's best last-minute winners. First off, huge love to Andrew Beasley, who's been stockpiling this list for however long. But yeah, that's basically where we pulled it from. So at BaseTuneToRed, if you want to give him some love on Twitter. We've got 10 suggestions here. There were more. There's loads more, which is quite funny.
Is it 40 odd we've had or something?
Loads. Bloody loads. I've managed to whittle it down.
Is that all just on the Jürgen?
Genuinely, like, it's like, yeah, there's a handful in the early days of the Premier League, and then it really starts to ramp up to the point where, I'm trying to think, I think all but one of these, all but one of these are Jürgen Klopp era.
Wow, recency bias, right?
Absolutely. So we'll start with the oldest, for the sake of it. Let's get it out the way.
You got the rules.
Oh, sorry, you're right. Not so much. One rule is that we can only have one in the top rank. Okay. So only one can be number one, but we can have multiples in 2, 3, 4, or 5. Okay. And your main consideration points, just for conversational purposes.
Did you mean to put the blue at the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Think about it.
Playing to an audience.
Echoing real life.
Should we maybe take them?
I mean, it might have to come off the board in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, absolutely.
Replace it with a Burnley one.
Claret and blue. The main consideration points for this are size of the occasion, the standing of the scorers. So are they a nailed-on legend? Were they a fringe player, youth player?
How does that legend status work? If they are crap and they were a fringe player, for example, do they get more?
It's just a point of consideration. I'll let you work out where you think standing on that is. The opponent, and the final consideration point is hilarity.
Okay, right. Well, we know which one.
The box special.
First up for consideration then is Neil Mellor, 92nd minute against Arsenal, 2-1 win in 2004.
Is this the one where he said, "I'm tired, so I just hit it"?
Yes.
Oh, brilliant.
Stick him there for now. We'll move on about. It was a great goal, that.
Yeah.
Harry Kewell nearly gets knocked unconscious, I think, by somebody, and then rather than help his mate, Neil Mellor goes, I'm just belting this.
Yeah. You can see him on the floor there.
Yeah, he's nearly dead, the Harry Kewell there.
Yeah, just typical. That's typical Harry Kewell goals, that isn't it? Lying on the floor. Right, that was an absolute worldie of a goal, though, if you remember it. He went up for a header and missed it, and then Kewell got taken out by Sol Campbell, and then he just smashed it. But he picked his spot, like he probably chipped out over the keeper's head, and I think under the circumstances, he only played because Baros was out and Cisse was out. We literally had no one else, and Mellor played. And
were you covering Liverpool at this
no,
time?
I remember seeing a video with him. Who was he getting interviewed by? And he was getting interviewed and he was talking about this goal. And he was talking about it being his favourite goal and the reasons behind it.
Many others, did he?
He didn't. He only had a handful, yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you what, though, most of them are big goals, big important goals.
Well.
He scored an Olympiaco's game.
Exactly.
Yeah, and assisted the win.
That's a worldie, that goal. It's so good. It's Jens Lehmann. He just
love the goal,
just about goes past us. But ultimately, I mean,
but they were so much better than us then as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
It was Champions League 4 or 5 year, wasn't it?
So it's around that sort of spell. It's the end of 2004 where the Olympiacos game is in that little spell because, as Nick rightly says, Liverpool have got an absolute dearth of injuries at the time. Cisse's out because he's broken his leg against Blackburn, right? And Baros was constantly in and out all that season. So yeah, Neil Mellor gets chucked in. Yeah. Oh, good. And
I think the fact that it is Mellor though as well. You know, it wasn't Mo, it wasn't Sadio or something like that. It was the fact that Mellor stepped up in this moment and buried it. It wasn't lucky. It wasn't bundled over the line.
No, it was a great goal.
It was a world class goal. So
and I remember the grounds. It was absolutely let off. It was fantastic. Yeah. So it was a big game, big goal.
I was back in the press box in those days as well, working for the Echo. So
that was
definitely one where I was jumping all over the place for sure.
I was managing a pub in Sheffield at the time, and I had it on the big screen, and I legged it round that place. I did laps when that goal went in. I was sat watching it with a mate who supported Arsenal. It was one of the best feelings watching a game. Yeah, I don't know whether it'll stay up number one, but I'm happy for it to be in strong consideration.
I reckon that'll make top 5, me. I reckon that could stay on the board. I do, honest.
Yeah. Right. Sounds okay. We'll move on then to a very early in the Jürgen Klopp run. It was Adam Lallana, 95th minute, 5-4 win over Norwich, 2016. This was, I mean, we talk about the big moments in sort of the Klopp era, and everyone references.
This is the glasses one.
Yeah.
This is the glasses one. So this is like people talk about West Brom and going and leading the the players to the crowd and all that kind of stuff. This was the January. It was the first time where you're like, this is the absolute madness and wildness of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. Won't give up. We'll go to the last
Heavy
possible
metal
kick.
football and
Yeah,
all that.
exactly.
Just throw Stephen Cork on up front.
Yeah.
Get that all going as well. That was a crazy game. That you know, it's a good finish as well. It's into the floor, I think, and it bounces up. Like, he's quite cool and calm. What's mad is that's one of those where it looks like a goal before he's even kicked it, because the way the ball falls down, you just see him run onto it. It's like, oh my god, he's going to score this. I think everybody knew. I don't think it was as good of a goal as the Mella one, but you're right. It was the first time, because we had a few that season, and obviously in Europe as well, where it was like we were a bit crap, but also it was like this never say die, we never give up attitude kind of thing. And yeah, that was just a bonkers
that game. We asked Liverpool to open up Anfield to schools, for the kids that couldn't go in. To ever. So a lot of them, the first time they were in Anfield, they put a meal on and were watching the game. And I never forget when that went in. You've just seen like 100 kids from all things, and magic. You just seen it, so you could see instantly they were just in love with Liverpool and the game. And it was in Anfield. They had Mighty Red bouncing off the walls, but all the kids were just bouncing around on Smarties, and they seen the goal, and you're just thinking they've just been hooked. They've been hooked. So I bet loads of them kids now have been hooked for life from that goal. Yeah,
I love Jürgen's comment, wasn't it? It's hard to find your glasses when you haven't got your glasses on. Do you know what?
Scooby-Doo land.
Always a problem. It's like a lot of times I go round wearing my glasses. If I only had my glasses to find me fucking glasses.
Above or below, what do you think?
I think it's below Mella, but
I think it's below. Yeah, in the context of the game,
Just the quality of the strike. Like,
Yeah, it's Norwich. It's Norwich, not Arsenal, isn't it?
I watched that game. We were due to go in. My daughter was due to be born. I was going in to be induced, and that game was in the afternoon. And we went into the hospital in the night. So we were waiting in the delivery suite. I was watching Match of the Day on my phone, watching the highlights of that back. What a day that was, unreal. Okay, next one up. Sadio Mane, 94th minute.
Number one.
Where is it? There it is. Versus Everton, 1-0, 2016.
That was the day when someone ruined my shoes with Bovril. Some fucking Evertonian.
Oh, what a day.
Some friggin' Evertonian threw Bovril at me when we scored that. That was out of this world. That should be number one for hilarity of it. It goes above Mella for me. That being in that ground when that went in, it was unbelievable. It was so good. The flare gets through on and then we all thought the ref had disallowed it, so he blows his whistle. And then Mane looks and then he realises, no, he's just telling you to get away from this gang of lunatics, because it was going crazy. Everything about it, they were going mad because it was a 0-0. The goalie's crap, which makes it funnier. Like, I don't know what he's doing off it. I thought that was, that might be my favourite ever. Just being in the ground at the time. Some of these I wasn't in the stadium for. Being at Goodison when that went in was just out of this world.
I think when you get a song from the goal, it's important, isn't it? Yeah. It's an important moment.
Merry Christmas, Everton. Yeah, that gives it a bit of oomph as well, doesn't it?
wasn't it? It was only that late in the game as well, because Barkley had tried to kill Henderson. Barkley should have been sent off.
Yeah.
And that was when Henderson was getting treatment, and that's why it went in deep into post 90 minutes.
They always do it to themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
But this was the beginning of what's the most Everton way to lose a football match.
It involves
and there's more that follow.
Yeah, it involves woodwork and it's dodgy goalkeeping.
It's always December. Like, we've made Christmas jumpers out of these goals the following year for about 4 years on the bounce. That one was called Last Christmas, and we had a picture of Mane with all the smoke behind it. Sold 1,000 of them. Nice one, Everton. I think we missed the year once where we didn't actually do it, and we just did last Christmas.
I guess it needs must. Can I put this in one?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're going to slide those two down.
Yeah, for
now. Okay. Next one. Maybe a bit of an outside shout, but I think one that Chris probably holds closer to his heart than most. And maybe you actually think maybe you do, Steve.
Is it Clavin?
It is Ragnar Klavan, 94th minute versus Burnley, 2018, 2-1 win.
Was that the New Year's Day?
That was the, yeah.
Yeah, away. That was a bell to that.
I told the story in a couple of weeks ago. I watched that while my missus was giving birth. That was the one I was, yeah. She was literally giving birth and I had...
Push! I'm already pushing it. No, I'm talking to Ragnar!
I'm talking to the lads. Get on with it. That was... They just equalised, hadn't they? Like, and it was a real kick in the nuts.
There was a let-off in the away end that day. That was a hell of a day. And I think in these ones, like, Mane, I expect it. You know, we'll come on to ones where the forwards are the main guys who do it. But when it's Ragnar Klavan, like, and I know it's only Burnley and all that type of stuff, but what a way to go and win a game of footy with Ragnar with a big head. Like, I'm
pretty sure Lovren's header was going in. And Ragnar just took the glory.
That's right, it was right against the post, wasn't it? Bundled it over. But hadn't we just signed Van Dijk? But the pressure was on.
That,
okay. Wasn't that that window where Van Dijk was coming in, binning all the press?
Because it was Everton in the Cup, was it, a few days later or something?
So those two were playing knowing this could be my last game because Virgil's coming in on big money. And the two of them set it up to score the winner at the end.
It was glorious, like...
Klavan stole Lovren's goal, and yet it was Klavan that got bombed out.
Poor sportsmanship, get out. Does it knock any of our three on the board down a place?
Personal experience, I was in the away end that day, so I'd have it above the Norwich one. But, like, I've got no arguments with it being maybe level with the Norwich one.
I think it's level, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense to me.
My arm's goosed.
This is probably the most obscure one. I'm not sure if people remember this, but I very much do. James Milner, penalty, 95th minute versus Leicester, 2019. We win the game 2-1. And it's one of those games. This is the one where Salah gets injured.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, by... Hamza Chowdhury, is it, who snaps him for no reason whatsoever, and it's pure Leicester just being horrible, and then Liverpool get the penalty. I think it's Mane basically dives and gets the penalty in the last minute, and James Milner steps up and slots it.
Very easy.
Yeah.
Was I there with you that game?
I watched that in the main stand. I watched that in my dad's seat, I think. In the Kenny for some reason, I can't remember why.
I was on the cop for it, and I could tell Manny died from where I was. I have no idea how he got that pen. It was a cool penalty though, wasn't it? It was a.
I have absolutely no recollection of this game.
No, it was a. Wow. It was. I think again, it was a winter game, wasn't it? Like Christmassy time, I think. I'm right in saying I might be wrong on that, but
I've got an elite mentality when it comes to watching football. Now it's always just on to the next one.
Yeah, big ones.
I mean, can a penalty really go above any of these ones?
Well,
context of the game, isn't it?
Exactly.
It was a big game at the time. Were they champions?
Bearing in mind, we are this is the title winning season.
Oh yeah, it's 1920. Yeah, right. It was to keep the win and run going, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This was the 8th game of the season. Yeah. We've won every game up until that point.
I think you've got to remember, obviously, with City, you can't afford to drop a game, can you? Yeah. You know, when they're going full pelt, we're going full pelt. Every game's massive, isn't it?
That's exactly what it
felt. Did they score early in this one?
I'll tell you exactly what happened in this one. So, Mane scored in the 40th minute, and no, Maddison equalised.
James Maddison, in front of the
on the 80th, in front of the
right,
yeah, I remember it.
I'm happy for it not to push high. I think it's probably in. There's another one from that season which we're going to come on to, which I think will blow it off the water anyway.
I thought number 4 for now.
Okie dokie. And this is the next one that I'm going to bring up. Another one that Chris didn't know by looking at the picture. For shame. It is Sadio Mane, 94th minute, Aston Villa, 2-1, Villa Park, 2019. Liverpool are basically, set to capitulate. We've got Adam Lallana playing in the 6 because we don't want Fabinho to pick up a suspension for the City game. And... yeah, Andy Robertson and Sadio Mane pull it out, 2 goals in the last couple of minutes. Yeah, I have never felt I've never had an away experience quite like that. Me and Tom were on the very front row of the away end, and we ended up on the LFC TV inside video of it, and I'm very grateful to the editors of that, because there were moments where no one was singing in that because it was all going horrendously wrong for us, and they put a clip of me and Tom as the only 2 people singing, which made us look dead good. But that absolutely outraged. That for me the moment when I knew we were going to win the league that season.
I think Andy Robertson said that in an interview as well, didn't he? It was that day was when they thought, we're boxing this off. It's a good header as well. It's like a near post into the far far corner type thing.
Contextually, which Joe's frantically typing away for me, thanks Joe, City were playing at the same time and scored a late winner themselves in that one, so City the gap would have closed ahead of us playing them, but instead Liverpool slammed the door on them with it.
That was a good goal. It was a really good header.
Yeah.
I remember their fans have just been giving Virgil a bit as well, and then Virgil gives them it back.
I think in the context of the history of what we were
high,
pressure,
you know,
it's
what we
high.
were after.
It's high, isn't it? It was a big goal.
Where he's going?
2.
2?
Yeah.
Happy with 2?
It's going to get moved, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't put above a winner against Everton, can you?
It's a solid point. Okay,
Plus, it was against Villa. One of my best mates is a mad Villa fan. So when there's that personal thing as well, where you get to see him and go,
It's next one is from this season, but it's not even the most recent one. It is Fabio Carvalho, 98th minute at Anfield versus Newcastle. 2022, 2-1 win. Finish.
That was going to be the start of the season, wasn't it?
The Reds are back. We just needed it.
Bloody hell.
It was the first time where I'd noticed how much Newcastle time waste. And it's funny, if you go on social media now, every game someone's playing against Newcastle, all you see is, oh my God, all they do is time waste. And then the time wasted so long that we got a 98th minute winner against them. I thought, that's the making of him. That's the making of our season. Well, I haven't seen him since, and we've been crap. It was hard to know. It was a really
good goal is Carvalho, though, done. He scored against City this season as well, didn't he? Yeah. That was a belter, That's a proper
problem. Just smashed
release.
it into the roof of the net from about 3 yards out. Yeah.
98 minute.
Context-wise,
Context.
Nah.
on the bottom, I think, for context.
5?
Yeah.
Can you throw it?
I mean, literally nothing's happened.
For them, yeah. If it would have been level with Newcastle now, going for like second, third place, but then it would have been a different gravy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Well, speaking of similar context, and maybe this is one that will age better, it is Diogo Jota, 94th minute winner versus Tottenham Hotspur.
No, there's more hilarity in this one.
Your point of the funniness of it gives it extra points. Means it's going to have to be up there.
It's going to fly up the board, isn't it? I mean, Richarlison doing the pigeon and then doing what pigeons do, which is eating shit 30 seconds later. It's just a fucking goal, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I like it. What's funny about it now in context. Klopp said he got in. He was injured in that game, so he was allowed to do that. Watch when he sits down for a celebration. He sits down like me. Like his back. He's like, he's getting on the floor to try and do a little FIFA celebration. With hilarity being a key points driver, it has to be quite high, because Richarlison's celebration that he did 3 celebrations, and then for his time wasting on the celebration to lead to us getting the time to score the winner,
and Klopp's hamstring.
Klopp's hamstring goes as funny as
hobbling away like that. Did you see what he said in his press conference? If I was a player, I'd be out for 6 weeks, but I'm not, so I'm all right.
Even him just shouting in the ref's face is quite funny. Like that, what's he done? Like, what's that guy done? I don't think that guy made a single decision all game. But he took the brunt of it.
I think it was a brilliant goal as well.
Yeah.
It was an absolutely magnificent goal, wasn't it? You know, he knew what the ball was coming to him. He knew what he was going to do. It was a brilliant finish in the context of everything.
What was the let-off like?
Fantastic. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Something else that was.
Except me mate who got off.
Yep.
Did he? After the goal?
He got off at 3-2.
Why do people do it?
The lad next to me, I won't name, but he does watch periodically, so he knows when I refer to things he does in matches. We have a little laugh about it. He got off at 3-3 because he was, and I spoke to him the other day, and I said, mate, and he went, it was because it was Richarlison. If it had been anyone else, I'd have just stuck it out. But Richarlison just done it. I was like, I'm not having that. I'm getting off.
That context though means it's got to fly up the board because it's got just enough blue nose to it to make it that little bit extra special.
It's got that whiff of it, and Tottenham.
It's got the most Tottenham thing ever. Do you know what I mean? And I think all the videos the next day as well of all like the Tottenham, supporters who are videoing themselves doing live things and all that. All that stuff was just like gold.
It's also funny that he probably should have been sent off as well and wasn't. I think that even that adds to the hilarity of it because they were fuming about that.
And it was his first goal of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was, yeah. Richarlison's
first goal.
So,
Yeah.
First goal, like,
Yeah.
Tottenham, I think in the league,
Even better.
Potential context as well is, I think that would have like destroyed our season. After seeing your abject performance, us going 3-up and then coming back, and you think you're leaving the ground, thinking, well, where are we going here?
Yeah,
I think it's massive for next season as well.
I agree on that, and that's what I mean about like time might change our opinion on this, because ultimately it gets us 3 points the same way that Carvalho's does. But it's toward the end of the season, and Liverpool trying to turn their fortunes around.
exactly.
If Richarlison costs us 2 points at Anfield, then I just can't. I don't see how you pick yourself back up. How does it get better after that?
If we win the Europa League next season because we finish above Tottenham by 2 points, like Alisson's head, that takes context, and we might speak about it later, because of what we went on to qualify for the European stuff. That it could age even better. But I think it probably it's quite high. It might be 2.
I think it's definitely 3.
I'd say 3.
I think it's I'd say it's 3, and if Liverpool have the end of the season that we're hoping,
It might age more.
it might.
Yeah.
It might go up. Look, if we finish in the Conference League, everyone will be cursing that he's scored that goal.
We're playing off 2 o'clock on a Friday, like the fuck out, Diogo. Couldn't that have felt a down?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, look. If someone wants to make a strong case for it to be higher than that,
No, because I know what's coming. So
okay. So, two more big ones left. The first, I was toying with what order to release these in. I'm going to go with Divock Origi, 96 minutes.
Just put them all.
Versus Everton, 1-0, 2018. Jordan Pickford. Jurgen Klopp hugs Alisson Becker on the halfway line of the pitch.
Everton fans had just thrown a flare on the pitch to celebrate a 0-0.
The most Everton moment in a football match of all time.
I think
Discuss.
It might be forgotten at the moment, but like, I forgot he played for us until he brought him on.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him for ages. He turned up and he had like dreadlocks. Like,
Well, he come on and he fluffs a chance a couple of minutes earlier in a very sort of similar position, and you go, well, that's just Divock, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's what happens when you bring in Divock Origi into games. Little did we know that we were watching the genesis of Divock Origi, cult hero for all time. It's a magic moment.
I think when we brought him on, I think we just brought Sturridge on as well. And we were like, bloody hell, we need to buy a striker. Because why are we bringing these two on in the derby? And then obviously he gets and then he goes on. Actually, he stays in the team, or he's thereabouts right till the end of the season, context-wise.
Sturridge plays a lot of Sturridge plays like Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, as an example, when Firmino's injured. Sturridge is he's the fourth of the forwards, and this is the game where Origi is a bit fit and available, isn't he, and starts scoring important goals for us.
I think it's probably better than the Goodison one, I think.
It's one of my favourites ever goal.
Yeah, me too.
It's just one of the favourites ever moments. And context to that as well as the Camel-Lads, lads and lasses were on strike, and he come to Anfield that day collecting. And Ross Quinn, who's the Unite Trade Union rep, the officer, he's a huge blue nose. So we was in that end. We were in, obviously, it goes off, and we'd already said we were going to boss night with the Camel-Lads, collecting and to highlight the strike. So at the end of it, obviously we win, we go back to Taggy, and Ross was just like ashen face, and I said, "You've got to come to the boss nights now." So we go to boss nights, we get him on stage, and you can imagine what he's doing. And fair play to the lad, he sucked it up, and he went on, and he spoke about obviously the strike and the big collection, but it was just the most perfect night. It was just everything about it, and they say it was just the most Everton game ever, wasn't it?
Oh, it really
It was just one of my favourite ever games.
When you speak about hilarity, if that is, part of the criteria here, I don't think I've laughed so much at a goal in my life. Like it was cheering, but it was tears streaming down your face, laughing at the same time.
I was thinking, how is that a goal? Like, surely he's either offside or it's gone out. Or I was amazed that they just didn't find something wrong with it, because I've never seen anything. You'll never see the ball bounce off the crossbar.
It's going out, and he pushes it back into play because Pickford's an idiot.
But it's the drama of the Van Dijk shock.
The groan.
It's just terrible. And you're thinking, oh, no. What? It's like unbelievable.
Liverpool do that video, don't they, where they do the goal from every angle. Have you seen it? And every single one, it's the cross. It's Alisson passes the Trent cross, comes in, it goes to Virgil, and you're there. Oh, and then you hear dink, dink. Ah! It's so good. Everyone was fuming at Van Dijk. Even Van Dijk's fuming. He turns away. Fuming at himself.
Yeah.
And the songs has got legs as well. Like, we're still singing the song at him now, Pickford, aren't we? So
Oh, Little Arms,
yeah, like obviously came from there as well.
I think it's going to go in number one, isn't it?
There's nothing that sums up two football clubs more.
Yeah.
Is that and a rivalry that's been completely and utterly dominated by the superior side than that goal.
Divock Origi.
Don't underestimate the blue fillet. How much that adds to that game. Did he set a flare off at 0-0?
Yeah.
0-0? Yeah. Set a flare on the pitch. And then they get...
Wait, was it blue?
Yeah.
I get confused with the
Purple,
purple one.
Yeah. There wasn't the bluest flare I've ever seen.
There was the infamous purple flare from back in the day when Lost was at a tight peaking back. Smoke was a big thing. Like, we've got one more. Is it big enough to top Divock Origi in the Merseyside derby? It is Alisson Becker. The only goalkeeper in Premier League history to score a winning goal in a football match. 2-1, West Brom, 2021. The only man who's ever made me take my top off on the internet.
That's a lie.
He was on his knees, swinging his t-shirt around on the floor on a live stream. Was this during COVID as well?
Yeah.
So I think there was, during the COVID watch longs, there was about 25,000 people watching us. The game. And he's there, just on the floor, with this crazed look in his eye. It was brilliant.
Something else.
It's one of my favourite memories, full stop.
It's brilliant. I'm always so happy that Nat Phillips didn't get it. Because I reckon he was about to put it 20 rows up into that empty stand behind the goal.
Nat Phillips has said that. Nat Phillips has said I was missing that by a mile.
The fact that it was Allardyce as well in the other dugout makes it a little bit funny.
You know why you can't go top? Because, I mean, it breaks my heart that because there's no fans.
Yeah.
And we were all watching it, weren't we? But you can imagine what it would have been like
to be in there.
In there if it had been. So I think it's got a category of its own for uniqueness, but just not having the fans there, I just think that's the heartbreaker for them.
It's such a good header. Like,
that was a great header. It's a perfect header.
Bullet header.
Yeah.
Can I just make a Divock Origi, Newcastle away? You know, the week before Barcelona, we were there. That was one of the best let-offs ever because we were right in the midst of the race, weren't we, with City, and you know, he does it again, doesn't he? With an header, it was a great game.
That might not have been injury time. Wasn't that just like
it was late? But yeah, and also I think it makes me really sad thinking about that because that was like, because I can't think about that without thinking about freaking Vincent Kompany battering one in against Leicester.
That's a good point. There might have been a last minute wise. It was right to the end, but
I was thinking Collymore 4-3 might have made your top 10. Just for that game, it's like one of the best games ever. Where's Alisson going? Sorry, I'm hijacking your segment here.
I kind of agree with Ian. I would never have thought of it like that, but the no fans thing, no one got to celebrate it like we would have. Whereas it was great seeing you with your top off, don't get me wrong, but like I'm sure I saw about 50 lads with the tops off for the Everton one, so if we're counting how many shirts got taken off, and you know, also ended up about 5 rows, away from where you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
The Everton one tops it by a mile.
It's hard to really take anything that happened in that COVID season like serious.
In fact, we're careful, Steve. We won the league then. No.
That season before that was sorted. It's I'll never remember anything from that. The only thing I'll ever remember from that season is that header.
We lost 6 games back to back, and it was all I remember is being stuck in that room through there with Chris, just miserable every week, twice a week, turning up to sit in a little room and watch Liverpool lose games on the telly,
like a training ground. It was awful.
And I remember
fucking Song 2 by Blair playing every time we scored a goal.
And it's weird because like you watch these you watch compilation videos or stuff. It's like Liverpool have played Real Madrid 5 times, have we? And it's like 2 of them being them stupid COVID season. They just don't register in your head. Not other than Alisson's head. You could tell me anyone I've scored in that season, I would probably half believe you. And including against us, because everyone seemed to beat us in that little run as well. I think we've done well there.
The comments, just before we wrap up, actually one from Thor here saying, context, Ali still grieving. His dad had just died in the build-up to that as well, and Allardyce's bitter post-match interview was a big part of that as well. And then a mention there from Brendan, it's got to be number 1 just for the fact that we saw Paul's moves, which is great. Thank you so much for that.
And also you mentioned it before, Paul, goalkeepers don't score winners because if you draw him, you don't send your goalkeeper up. Exactly. So there was just something else there to it, wasn't there?
And that's the one. We talked about Liverpool being in sort of comparative situation right now of needing to win all the games in the run-in, but that was it. You know, that was the slimmest of slim chances of getting top four. Yeah. I know they've still got to go on and win games after it, but you never feel like it's possible until that happens. And
so
then
if we'd won the European Cup, would we have said that have made a difference?
Well, we go on and effectively do. That's last season, isn't it? The season that follows. So yeah, you know, we nearly win the quadruple off the back we get to the Champions League final. I think you're right. I think if we win against Real in Paris, that goal is the thing that propels us.
It's the Napoli save.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. Yeah, it's got that kind of significance. Interesting. Okay, go on then, Steve. Do you want to just run us through what we've settled upon then?
In terms of, so we had Carvalho in the 5, Category Milner's in the 4, Lallana, Clavan and Jota in 3, Mella, Mane against Everton, and then Mane against Villa, Mane against Everton, and then Alisson at 2, and then Divock was always the odds-on favourite, I think, wasn't he? We're going to have to do something special to beat that.
Yeah.
I can't wait till the next time we scored an injury time winner against Everton.
Well, I'll be waiting a long time, Steve. Never coming back up if you go down.
Be a cup game, yeah.
AFC Everton in like 20 years' time when they've re-emerged.
Yeah, the Everton Phoenix Club. Yeah, I mean that's a good point. There might never be a derby moment as
there will be. Maybe we'll draw them in the cup. The fates need it to happen. It's like everything conspires for us to have a laugh at Everton at every opportunity we can. I mean, it's going to be something mad to make a funnier goal than that.
Yeah.
When you added the context
of Real Madrid's Everton?
Yes.
Damn it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Why just the downers like that, Chris?
What are you doing?
That's the head of the eye.
Dear me. Cool, if you agree or disagree with any of the answers there, do let us know in the comments. What would your top 5 be as well? Leave them 1 to 5 underneath. That would be absolutely splendid.